You ever feel that kind of nagging sense that time is just slipping away, moving faster than it ever has before? It's this deep, really human feeling, right? This longing for just a moment of peace in a world that absolutely never stops. So today, we're going to dig into why that feeling is so universal and what it might actually be pointing to about the world we're in and maybe the one that's on its way. You know the moment. You look up from your phone and somehow the entire afternoon is gone. You just scrolled through a few things, replied to a couple of messages, and poof, hours vanished. It really feels like our lives are just stuck on fast forward, and we can't for the life of us find the pause button. And honestly, it leaves you feeling exhausted and kind of wondering, is this really it?
But what if this feeling, what if it's not just a bug of modern life? What if you're not imagining it at all? There's an ancient text that actually has a name for this whole phenomenon. It calls it the shortening of days. And it's not just described as just a feeling, but as a sign that points to something huge happening, and a promise of rescue right at the heart of it all.
Okay, so when we hear a phrase like the shortening of days, our minds can immediately jump to chaos, right? To judgment and scary end of the world stuff. But the place this idea comes from, it frames it in a totally different light. It's actually presented first and foremost as a sign of God's incredible protective care.
So, this comes directly from the book of Matthew, where Jesus is talking about a future time of just immense difficulty. And he says the days will be shortened. But the reason why they'll be shortened, that changes everything. It's for the sake of the elect, for the ones he is actively protecting. You see how that flips the script? This isn't about punishment, it's an act of pure mercy.
The message here is it's about this profound care. It's God's way of saying, look, I see how hard this is, and I'm setting a limit on it. I just find that so powerful. It puts hope and protection right at the front of the story, even before any warning of tough times. It's a promise that His mercy gets both the first and the final word. You know, this feeling of being rushed, it's not totally new. You could say humanity has always been in a bit of a hurry. But what has changed, and this is the key, is the very nature, the sheer intensity of our haste. I mean, just think about it. For most of human history, life was measured in the time it took for a trader to cross a marketplace or for a messenger to ride across a kingdom. Now, that entire experience is crunched down into a single notification, a quick scroll, a flash of data. Our days feel shorter because the actual fabric of how we experience life has been fundamentally compressed.
And this constant rapid-fire world we live in, it basically puts every single human heart on display. It tests all of us, no matter what we believe. Believers start to wonder, does my quiet faith even make a dent in all this noise? People who've been kind of lukewarm start to panic, thinking, oh no, is it too late for me? Seekers are looking at all the chaos, asking, where is God in any of this? And skeptics just throw up their hands, doubting if any real hope can even exist.
But what if the problem that we're all feeling, this anxiety, this constant feeling of not enough, what if it isn't really about time at all? What if it's pointing to a much, much deeper ache that we all have? So yeah, if the issue isn't the clock on the wall or the calendar app on our phone, then what on earth is it? It seems like maybe we've all been looking in the completely wrong place for the source of our frantic, hurried lives. It's separation. The root idea here is that we were made for connection, for this perfect, unbroken relationship with our Creator. And this frantic rush we feel, this sense of being constantly overwhelmed, it's really just a symptom of that broken connection. It's like a constant low-grade fever, reminding us that we're only human, that we're limited, and that we were never, ever meant to do all of this on our own. And this is where the entire story pivots. The answer isn't some new productivity hack or a better calendar. The answer is a person. It's Jesus Christ. He's the one who didn't just watch our chaotic world from a distance. He willingly stepped right into the middle of our crowded, broken, fast-moving lives to bring a kind of peace that this world just can't manufacture. See, his role isn't just to put a time limit on the world's suffering. It's so much more profound. It's to enter into it and completely transform it from the inside out. He steps into the chaos to redeem it, to give our stories and our struggles a meaning they could never have otherwise. The very same person who calmed a raging storm on the sea is the one who brings ultimate order to the chaos of our world. Okay, so how does this ancient prophecy and this incredible hope actually change how we live on a Tuesday afternoon when the inbox is overflowing and we just feel completely swamped? How do we take this big idea and live it out right here, right now?
Well, the invitation is actually beautiful and simple. First, just stop. Seriously, take a breath. Intentionally pause in the middle of all the chaos. Second, look. Shift your focus away from the crazy rush of the world and turn it towards Christ. Third, trust. Anchor your heart in this one unshakable truth. His kingdom is coming. And finally, live from that place of hope. Let his mercy and his purpose be the things that define your story today.
Let's make this really personal for a second. If you were truly, deeply convinced that a future is coming where Jesus himself makes every single wrong thing right, how would that change the way you deal with the frustrations and the injustices you face today? It doesn't magically make the pain disappear, but it does reframe it in the light of an ultimate, guaranteed victory. So in the end, this whole idea of the shortening of days, it was never meant to be a doctrine that just creates fear. It's actually an invitation. It's an invitation from a loving God into real life, into a light that never fades, and into the promise of a kingdom that can't be rushed, can't be broken, and will never, ever fail. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this to think about. When you imagine this coming kingdom, a world that is finally healed and whole under the personal care of Jesus, what part of that picture fills you with the deepest hope? Is it the end of all the pain? The beginning of true justice? Seeing all of creation restored? I would genuinely love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thanks so much for joining me.